And now we're live. Hey everybody, how is it going? It's another edition of Ice Cold with Jacob Walters here with a special guest of mine, the Cleveland Saint of Sports. Say hi to everybody.
Hey, what's up everyone? It's your boy AhBigKev. What's up, Jacob? Thank you for having me.
I'm good. AhBigKev! So, I am delighted to have him on because Kevin's got a new occupation that he's got to tell us a little bit about. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yes, I decided to not be an individual and put on all this Cleveland sports work on myself and make little to no pay for it. And I've decided that I will be taking my talents to Mark One Sports.
Hell yeah.
Mark One Sports. Bunch of really cool guys. Shout out to Ethan and the gang. We cover the Indians, Browns, Cavaliers. Soon, we have something in the works for a Cavaliers podcast that I'll be doing, and I will be the host of. It's just it's in the progress and looking for a co-host, but things are moving up, and that's Mark One Sports. You can find it on Twitter, and their website is the same thing, mark1sports.com.
Hell yeah. Awesome to hear that. So, we got a lot of topics regarding sports, and mainly with the Cleveland Indians, who have gotten a new name. This has been the Cleveland... It's not Chip. It's not the Cleveland Chips. But it's...
Guardians.
Yeah, the Guardians. The Cleveland Guardians.
Because you said Indians. I didn't know what you were talking about.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because they got a new name change. They're no longer the Indians. They're going to be the Guardians starting next season. And that has sparked quite a response. So elaborate a little bit on this, on your opinion on it.
Well, for me, growing up here, childhood in the 90s, it was always Chief Wahoo and Indians. And I never tied the two together. Never thought it was anything to do with indigenous people, but that's just the time we're living in, and there would I guess would be protests before opening day, even though I went 6 straight years when I was a kid and I never saw protests or anything in the 90s growing up, but the time we're living in, you saw it with the Washington football team, formerly known as the Redskins. They gave in, and for Cleveland, it comes down to the ownership, and if they listen to what the people are saying. I think in today's cancel culture, they just have to do it. Not that I agree with it, just because I've always loved the Indians, the tribe. It was based off of a player when the Indians first started off, who was a Native American. But you know what? I get it. I know in the 2016 playoff run that Toronto was submitting something about Dan Wahoo from being able to appear for the Blue Jays versus Indians American League Championship. And after that, it's been downhill ever since on changing it. But there's the Guardians now, which is the Guardians. They have statues on each side. In the 1930s, the Guardian statues was the Guardians of Traffic. And back then, the 3 major cities that you wanted to go to were New York, Cleveland, and Los Angeles. Or San Francisco. Those would be the 3. It's not as relevant today. There's a lot of ways they can switch up that Guardian's name. The first initial. Now, did you see the logos that came out for it?
Yeah, I did, and I gotta say they're pretty similar to what the Cleveland Indians have now. It's just basically like the C and all that, and they still kept the color scheme pretty much, and that's pretty much where that similarity comes from. So they're keeping it to a sense.
Different Block C. Columbus Crew, Block C. Everything Block C. I swear to God.
Cleveland's going to be defined by Cleveland's going to
And
be...
then they had a baseball, and on the side of it were bridges on it. And then it's like the Guardians, and it's like the bridges are on the side. Like if you saw Major League with the sunglasses and the cigar and the crazy hair, but it's just the Guardian bridges on the two sides. Like it's like a G on the side of the baseball. You have to look it up. And the first thing I thought of was it looked like Paulie Walnuts from The Sopranos.
All right.
I posted it. It started to go viral all over Cleveland and national Twitter, and I forgot to tag my name on it, so I didn't get any credit for it. But side by side, it looks just like Paulie Walnuts with that silver slick hair.
Oh my God.
I'm going to tag it. I'll regret that for the rest of my life.
Oh, you'll be... Oh, yeah, there's one thing you always regret. It's probably that, but I just found it interesting, though, because you could, like, have Groot now as your mascot and be like, I am Groot. Or either the Cleveland.
I am Groot, yeah.
I am
we
Groot.
can kill Slider. Slider's been the man. He was, there was just I don't know, I think it was like 7 months ago, but it was mascot rankings for, like, all the baseball teams. And he's the least liked mascot in the major leagues, and the description for it was, and we all like Slider. We don't know what he is. Like he's that big purple thing. If you're familiar with Slider, he became when it became Jacobs Field. He was just the logo. Dick Jacobs and that team created him, but he was the least. I think he was ranked 27th, and the three other teams don't have a mascot. So I don't know why that is. That he's like a Philly fanatic ripoff, is what it said in the description. But I always like Slider. But I would love to get Groot, and we can get Rocket to do one. The guy who looked like the raccoon, and we can get Chris Pratt to be the mascot. That would be pretty awesome. Just have Chris Pratt be the mascot.
Or you could just have Dave Bautista, and he just Bautista bombs all the other mascots, and he just literally lays everybody out because you can't see him.
Oh, we can't hire you for that. I am Groot. Here's $100 million.
There you go. Hell yeah. Bam.
I love Groot.
I knew that seeing that you would instantly like that because you are like the biggest fan of Marvel and Star Wars, so it made perfect sense.
When I saw that, it was like Guardians. It's like, we are Groot!
Amazing. Like, it fits so perfectly now. It's been your childhood dream come true.
Yeah. I'll dress in a Groot costume 365 days a year. I don't give up.
Hell yeah. So, at that point, though, what is your most fondest memories of the Indians during their tenure as the Cleveland Indians? Like, what would you say is your most prized memory?
I would say, that's a tough question. One of the overriding themes was, throughout the years, I would say, other than 2016, they made it to the World Series because that's the most recent that comes to my head. But that comeback that they never quit, they came back in the ninth inning down 11 or 13 runs against Seattle, and they came back to beat Seattle in that game with Omar, Kenny Lofton, Jim Thome, Manny Ramirez, Carlos Baerga, and they never stopped quitting, and that was kind of like how Cleveland's a blue-collar city, and it was just, everyone was going nuts that year, and we all thought that was a big year, but they couldn't finish it against the Marlins in 97.
Oh yeah, that was such a crazy moment too. And they had a loaded team back then too, with like Thome and Ramirez and all these other big players.
Thome, Ramirez, Baerga, Eddie Murray, 3,000 hit club, Roberto Alomar at second, with Omar at shortstop, Travis Frieden at third, and Sandy Alomar behind the plate. They just didn't have pitching. They had Paul Shuey and then other guys, Paul Shuey, Charles Nagy, but then the list goes down from there. But, it's what if, could if, but, I'm just been kind of sad that they're changing up the name, but,
Yeah, I mean, it brings back so many good memories for fans. I'm gonna miss the guy who was drumming. He was like, go, every time when, like, what was it, the opposing team was hitting or something like that?
Oh, it's his name's John Adams.
I was going to say John Adams.
I went right up to him. Him and John Big Dog Thompson are two of the fans that I looked up to the most when I was a kid. And I got kicked out of high school sporting events because I would start chants that were too mean to opposing players. This was before bullying. Like 2010, I was like a precursor to that. And I got banned from sporting matches for the soccer chants I would do at soccer games and basketball games. But anyway, that was John Adams. What he'd do is, whenever there was a runner in scoring position, either second or third, he would do a steady dun, 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 dun. And then as pitch in the windup, he would dun, and then he would stop. And then the only player he would do it for every time he got on base, regardless, was Kenny Lofton. When he was on first base, Kenny Lofton, number 7, one of the best running Indian Steelers of all time. It's just like that Major League movie. Like, he's exactly like the guy who went to prison for Texas or whatever his name was. Oh no, was that Wesley Snipes in that movie?
I think it was Wesley Snipes. I think it was.
If it's not, I apologize, but but yeah, when you go in first, it would be every time it's Kenny Lofton, and everyone would chant in the night. It'd be Kenny, Kenny, dun, dun, dun. Pitchers would just lose their minds. He stole home plate 3 times in his career.
Because he was so...
a problem. He was a problem. And he, back when the Indians had, they had it as like I'll call them the Indians for the rest of the time, because this is their last year of it. But there was like this, the opposing bullpen that they used to have before they moved to left field. He jumped up on the track. He must have been up in the air about 14 feet, and he rounded a home run. I mean, Ken Lofton was everyone's childhood hero. I have a jersey that I made now, like a big 2XL. That's getting a little big on me. I don't know if you noticed, I've lost quite a bit of weight, but Kenny Lofton was everyone's favorite player growing up.
Oh, and by the way, Wesley Snipes was in Major League. He was Willie Mays Hayes. So I think that's the guy you were talking about there. So, moving on though, we got football around the corner, and it's both collegiate and NFL coming up. So we'll start with the collegiate level. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, for me, there's really nothing I'm looking forward to this season, and I'm sure that you are so glad of that right now, because fucking Michigan is not going to do anything this year, because they hired back Harbaugh.
Victors, right?
What's that?
The Victors.
Yeah, supposedly they're the Victors, but really it's just more of the brand than anything. If it was based on...
Did you see what your boy John Harbaugh said?
What did he say?
He said, we're going to beat Ohio State, or we're going to die trying. That was his quote. So, good job.
Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, you better hope that none of your guys transfer out for the rest of the year, or otherwise you're going to be even deeper as shit. Because that's been a big problem with Jim Harbaugh and his team, is that all these guys keep transferring out. Like, it's not just... What was that quarterback? I forgot what his name was that transferred out. I know it was Dylan McCaffrey, but there was also another guy that transferred out too. I'm trying to forget. It was Joe Milton. Joe Milton.
Yeah, that's right.
That was the guy. And then so many of these names keep transferring out. And he used to get 5-star recruits easily, like Rashawn Gary and Devin Bush, but now it's just like everybody else is just leaving because they know it's a dying ship and it's all fluff and no substance. Like, it's so frustrating and agonizing because you know that Michigan fans want to get back to the top and they want to just stop getting their asses kicked by the Buckeyes all the time, but the Board of Regents don't give a shit. They don't. They only care about money, and that's... I will say it to the death. They should stop caring about money and start caring about winning if they want to stay relevant.
They had an article the other day that Urban Meyer said that if Donovan Peoples-Jones was on Ohio State, he would have been a first-round pick.
Yeah, because it's a better program.
He openly said that because, he's not at the college level anymore. He was just being honest. And he went with the coaching staff that was there and everything. He went to the 6th round to the Browns, and the past couple practices, we have Pro Bowlers that we got from both the Rams and Denzel Ward and people covering Donald Peoples-Jones in the slot, and he's been it's everywhere on Twitter every day. No one can stop him. So
yeah, because
maybe hopefully for the Browns, there's another Wolverine that's amazing from the 6th round. Maybe we should just draft Wolverines in the 6th round.
Who knows? It might actually work for you. You guys will actually get to the Super Bowl and say "suck it" to the Steelers. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Although I will say, your Lions, the Steelers will just bring up that they have 5 more. It doesn't even matter at this point. They're just a bunch of dummies.
They'll just bring up their history.
Not all of them, but the people with like the fake accounts and stuff. Like as soon as the Browns have 1, they'll still say like, "Oh, but you still got 5 more to go." I can already picture it, but I'm already ready. I have like 70 photos to like counter and stuff about their family members and stuff. But
or Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, but what do you think? What do you think? Overall for this college football season is where are the Wolverines ranked when it's come to the preseason and everything? Or are they not in top 25 this year?
I don't think they're ranked at all. That's the sad part, is that they're not ranked at all. And they got a formidable schedule. I mean, I believe they start against Washington this season, which should be a good game. It's not going to be like we're going.
They're having yellow out, correct?
They should be having a yellow out. I mean, they
I saw
usually
something on Twitter. I said, "Oh, look, a toilet." Insert toilet joke here. You know, it's just.
Yo, like, it's not a good time to be a Michigan fan, especially if you're looking at the team and if you're looking at the Bo Schembechler stuff, and just all that is just, it's a mess. It's an honest-to-God mess, and I wish that these times right now weren't so dark, but I'm just going to tune out for that year. Like, it's honestly contemplating tuning out. Because you got to go up against Washington. Obviously, the Buckeyes are on there, but you also got to play against Wisconsin and Michigan State, which the Wolverines always trip up on because you always look down on a little brother and you always get your asses kicked. So,
yeah, Michigan State with their defensive court, the head coach that's there, is it Mel Tucker?
I think it's Mel Tucker.
He was the defensive coordinator at Ohio State. I was looking through my memories today because I have like this weird like 0.8% of like the entire world has this memory, but I have like photo memory. And I was thinking about back in 2004 when I went to my second Ohio State game, and I posted it on AhBigKev Sports on Facebook. But I remember it was number 7, 10-1 Michigan against 6-4 Ohio State with Troy Smith against Chad Henne. It was Braylon Edwards' senior year. And I just lost my. What were we just talking about?
You were talking about photographic memory, basically, or photographic.
Oh yeah, and well that year the Buckeyes had Troy Smith. There was a battle between Justin Zwick and Troy Smith the entire season. And then Troy finally gets in. Henne's the freshman QB. Michigan's number 7 in the country coming into Columbus. They lost the week before to Iowa, and then the Buckeyes ended up winning that one 37-21. With Troy Smith as a sophomore. That was Ted Ginn, Santonio Holmes, AJ Hawk, Malcolm Jenkins. He's still playing. And Chad Henne's still playing, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Talking about my Browns, I didn't understand. I thought, as soon as he came into that game last year, I tell you what, James, I was like, no, he's not going to do it. I knew all those years of just bashing your Wolverines. I was like, oh no. It was like Teji and it was like Tommy and Goodfellas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I knew something. And he rushed for that first down. I was like, you know what? Okay.
Oh, yeah. He's like getting his moment of revenge, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. No.
Yeah, me, because it's all about me. It's all about me and what I do in my past. It's not anything to do with game planning. It's all about me. AhBigKev.
That's right. All about AhBigKev. Don't disappoint me. Don't disappoint.
Well, speaking of Buckeyes, your Lions love drafting Buckeyes, huh?
The Lions do love drafting Buckeyes. I mean,
did they get rid of that Patriots bearded guy, or is he still
they
there?
got rid of Patricia. He's gone now, and he's off doing rocket science shit somewhere. And
good job, girl's name.
Yeah, good job, Patricia. Way to.
Good job, girl's name.
Way to stop reporters and try to tell them to sit up straight. Way to judge people in their
I
posture.
think we had this talk last year. I was like, you guys, it's just Mangini. You got Mangini too, pretty much.
And it's just the whole stipulation too with that. It's just that the people that hire like Patriots, people from the Belichick tree, don't succeed, and that's the common trope within that is that they don't succeed at all. And so why do you keep hiring?
Charlie Weiss, Ian Iguodala, he went to Akron after they won the MAC championship for the first time with Dominic Hickson and Luke Getsy. Dominic Hickson and Chase Blackburn were on both Giants teams in the NFL from Akron. They played on both Giants teams that beat the Patriots. That's a little inside knowledge for your Wolverine quarterback there. But anyway, but the coach that was there as soon as they had success at Akron was this Ian something. He's a scout. He went 1-37 until they fired him, and he killed the program. And guess what they did the year that they hired him?
Did they hire him back? Please tell me they hired him back.
They switched from Rubber Bowl, the famous Rubber Bowl, that you wouldn't know unless you're like in the Akron area, but it's like this famous college football stadium in the area that's been around since like the 20s and stuff with like Jason Taylor used to play there. And they switched it to a brand new InfoCision Stadium, $300 million, and after that first year with one win, the next year they still had half capacity. Now the Akron Zips average about a little over 1,000 a game, and it's mostly away fans.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's sad.
I'm assuming that obviously Akron's going to be in the MAC, so it's like a little bit of action. So like that.
Yeah, but at Rubber Bowl, it would always be filled up. It would always be filled up. But you know what? They got greedy. So and they hired, like we said, the Notre Dame coach. Charlie Weiss, Romeo Crennel. Romeo was like a substitute new head coach last year, and he still failed.
Of course, he's still failing.
I didn't know who he was. Was it the Texans or something? But I was like, he doesn't know timeouts. Like the Browns, like his first season, they should have made the playoffs. They went 10-6 and missed the playoffs with Anderson, Jamal Lewis running everywhere. Kellen Winslow, Braylon Edwards, your boy. They should have made the playoffs that year. He was a Pro Bowl. We had Pro Bowls everywhere. Joe Thomas on the O-line. But they went 10-6 and they fell short. Now it's just the Browns' luck over the years. But then the following year, Romeo had trouble just game planning. And then Derek Anderson lost his starting job. Brady Quinn became the quarterback. And he couldn't. He was like, oh, we're out of timeouts. It's the first quarter.
So it's basically like like Chris Webber kind of, where he's just calling the timeout and he doesn't realize he has timeouts, basically. Oh
Against North Carolina, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you guys had that moment too, huh? You know how it feels.
No, we did. The Buckeyes they were too busy having their head coach paid for Women of the Evening to recruit, and then we got a 4-year ban from the NCAA tournament.
Oh god!
I forget that coach, John something, but he was
John
like
Cooper. Was it John?
No, not Jonathan Cooper. He lost the big game. He wouldn't have met. No, the basketball coach.
Oh, okay. Shit. I don't remember who that was. If you're talking about Buckeyes, I don't know.
But he was also a Pacers head coach. I don't remember though. But they had a 4-year ban, and their last year of that ban from the NCAA tournament, they beat. If you remember, they beat Illinois on the buzzer beater by Matt Sylvester. Illinois was 29-0 in the last game of the season. They beat them, and that was kind of like the season-ending moment. That was the year before that was the first year of Thad Matta. Yeah. But you wouldn't know. Yeah, that's before your time, probably. I'm older than you, so.
Obviously, so.
It's John something. I can't think of. It's not John he was your coach. I can't think of
Beeline is Wolverine's coach. I'm just going to tell you right now. He is the Wolverines coach.
Well, he was part of the Cavs organization as a head coach, and then we moved him up, and then we got rid of him, and now he's helping another NBA team in a non-coaching role. Because you guys got Juan Howard now, right?
We got the big recruiter, Juwan Howard. He is pulling in 5-star recruits like you wouldn't believe. And I'm actually excited for Michigan basketball. I'm going to tell you straight up. Because last year...
Do you see who's leading the 22 recruiting class? 2022 recruiting class? The Ohio State University.
And football, absolutely. I mean, you guys are always...
Basketball
too?
Yep.
Really?
I have the number one class in football and basketball as of right now.
When is the last time that has ever happened, though? That's got to be, like, in both football and basketball.
I would say the Florida Gators. Do you remember they dominated Ohio State that one year in 2006? And then Noah Brewer, they all came back for their 5th year to beat Greg Oden and Mike Conley.
Yeah, I remember
the football team was Tebow was like a freshman, and they had Percy Harvin, and then they beat Ohio State because Ted Ginn tore his Achilles, and he just retired. Beautiful NFL career, by the way. I think he was the same draft class as Henny.
Probably. I'll have to look that up. So I think that he and Henny are probably in the same draft class. But yeah.
Or he was the year after, because they played Notre Dame in the bowl game. And not the Florida game, but he played the following year after that. And so I think he might be a year. Henny might be a year older. He was out the year before that, if that makes sense.
Henny is a year after Ginn, because Ginn was drafted in 2007. Henny was drafted in 2008, so just a year after that, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
Which, yeah, that's fine for him. Good guys.
And then Jake Long was picked with the first pick, and Braylon Edwards was at 5. I know all about your program. You got to step up on following your Buckeye. You got a Kudo over there. He's healthy, you know. I think your Lions are going to surprise some people this season.
Don't bank on it. Honestly,
they can't do it all in one season, but honestly, I mean, look at the Browns. Look how we turned it around. If we can do it, you can do it.
Don't bank on it. Because at least with Cleveland, they've actually planned this articulately. They managed Beckham Jr., and you also got, Nick Chubb you drafted. You also got a stable quarterback now. Like, the Lions don't have that, because they don't get big players like that. They usually get washed up players like Adrian Peterson, or Halati Nada, or something like that. Or, I forgot what his name was. But he used to play for, the Ravens. Well, they drafted Ndamukong Suh, but they didn't. They just don't. Whenever they get a once-in-a-generation talent.
You know, we've been struggling. I remember starting a Thanksgiving game that you guys threw that Hail Mary pass interference. Stafford got up, his ribs are broken, and still freaking beat us. They threw the flag, so don't go comparing. Even though we got a playoff win, don't go and say that. I mean, you guys had Megatron, Stafford. You had plenty to look for. We had Charlie Fry, who was 49-0 to the Steelers, and I was a big Akron fan. I was like, oh, we got him in the 3rd round. And he plays 2 years later, and you're decent Fry. He's like, oh, gee, we just lost 56-0 in the home opener.
Yeah, it was brutal. But the problem with the Lions is that they don't surround their teams with talent. They get once in a generation talent like Barry Sanders or Calvin Johnson, and that's it. They just be like, hey, we're just going to surround these 2 guys, 1 or 2 guys, with just mediocre players all around. Like, you don't supply the defense enough, or you don't get a good enough quarterback. Like, back in the day, they had, Herman Moore, who was actually a good receiver, but it's just that Scott Mitchell wasn't the solution, so it was just frustrating.
Is it true that they're thinking about doing a new deal and leaving the Motor City? Not Motor City, but I'm sorry, where they play the MAC championship. It's the Motor City Bowl for college championships, but your indoor arena, I thought they were going to switch it up, I heard somewhere.
What do you mean, like the Motor City Bowl? Oh, the Dome? Oh, Ford Field.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of that.
Or is it fine? Everything's intact and...
I haven't heard of those rumors, but I'm assuming that they're not true. I'm not going to bank too much on that.
Yeah, I probably lied. I probably just saw it somewhere, and I was like, oh, that's true. That's true.
No, I mean, he wants to stay in Detroit, so. Other than a bunch of hipsters. I mean, literally.
So how do you think they'll fare this season?
Detroit, like I said, hot garbage. They're going to be hot garbage this year because you know what? Really, the NFC North in general is going to be hot garbage. So, and like, Chicago shouldn't have been in the playoff team last year. Let's be real, because the only reason why they got in was because of the fact that the NFL decided to add an extra team to the playoffs. Minnesota didn't get in. I mean, but they should be a surprise team. But
Thank you, Vikings, for Kevin Stefanski. He's great. You guys have a good season. Enjoy the rest of your life. Yeah, thank you.
Oh yeah, they screwed up royally on that one too. And Green Bay, probably the best team. They can never get over the hump. And Aaron Rodgers is gonna leave that franchise eventually, and probably gonna be next year too that he leaves. And they're gonna be royally screwed too. So
they traded for Randall Cobb out of the Texans. Texans are just giving away people at this point. I don't think T.J. Watt re-signed there. I don't think the Texans have anyone. But Green Bay brought in Cobb, and I guess Rodgers will play now. And now whoever the wide receiver is will renegotiate. But I don't know. It's a hot mess in Wisconsin, even though their NBA franchise just won a championship. And the Packers are fine, but there's a big thing that Rodgers doesn't want to play there anymore.
Yeah, it's just a whole hot mess. And it's not really Brian Gutenhurst's fault at all. It's really just ownership not really doing enough to supply that talent. Brian Gutenhurst did more. They drafted the quarterback, exactly. Like, why would you do that? Like,
because it's hilarious.
Of course, and it's just, I really want to say that they screwed up royally with that, but I know they did, and I know that.
What do you have is the let's go AFC now. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go.
Oh, that's right.
Browns all season.
Yes, I'm honestly going to tell you, I think the Browns will win the NFC North this season, because I really do, because I'm not really sold on Baltimore.
Wow.
And
the last time they won the division, I believe, was 87. It's either 87 or 93. I think it was 1987 with Bernie, the kid from Miami, the MVP of the AFC. Bernie.
Doesn't he follow you on Twitter? I was going to say, I forgot to mention that. He follows you on Twitter, and I'm like, that's so cool.
Oh, yeah, Mark One Sports. Make sure I play. Mark One Sports.
Mark One Sports!
I got Birdie following me. I got JoJo Natson. We're Akron buddies, but Stanton, fullback for the Browns. I got your boy Donovan Peoples-Jones. I got Felix Wright, famous player from the 80s for the Browns. Kevin Mack, running back for the Browns, 80s. All the teams that my dad grew up with. We actually had we had to talk. He was a little tipsy, but he was getting emotional, seeing me in this role where I was able to go by myself, go to training camp and interview people, and now all of a sudden everything's starting to work out. Kevin's starting to grow up. Woo!
Kevin's starting to grow up. But I'm proud of you. You knew you could do it.
Thank you, buddy. I like your hair. You got a shape, though.
A little bit. I mean, this is that makes two of us, so. But yeah, I'm so flattered. But how do you think the Browns will do in the AFC? Because I'm going to tell you right now, the AFC is loaded with a lot of good teams. You got Buffalo, you got Kansas City, you also got even Indianapolis could be good. Tennessee,
Baltimore.
This offense is just wow, and Baltimore too.
Although Ingram didn't re-sign, but for whatever reason their offense got better. I guess they drafted some wide receiver kid, but I don't know. I don't know how Baltimore is better overall in every category, and but not on defense. But their offense is 2 points better than Cleveland's offense in the latest grading system. They have Dobbins in the backfield. No Dobbins, but
Yeah.
you know what? He's a trigger now. And when he plays my Browns, no, Buckeyes, yeah.
No
Browns come
Dobbins.
first. Even though Ohio State class of 2018, Browns come first. But every other week I'll be like, oh, I hope you do good. But then again, you can lose. That's okay. But, yeah, they got some wide receiver. Oh, the kid from Minnesota. I don't want to say it's Chris Carter's kid, but they got someone in the first round. It's like, oh, of course they got him. Whenever it's like Steelers and stuff, it's like, oh, they got Cameron Hayward. He'll play this for 15 years. That's fair.
Good system, though.
It's like, no, Lamar Jackson's the last pick. Oh, that's good.
How did they pull that off? Yeah, because they run those teams very well. They run them, like, top to bottom, they run those teams very well. Like, Pittsburgh has, like, what, 3 coaches? Like, Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and then, like, Mike Tomlin now, too. Like, it's like, I think since, like, the 70s or something? Like, it was, like, during that time, it's, like, impressive.
And, you know, in defense of the Steelers, they were one of 2 teams to vote no for the Browns to move to Baltimore. So, you know, even though Pittsburgh sucks and we hate each other, you know, there is some respect and rivalry, especially when we're out there, like, tailgating in the Muni Lodge, or if we even travel to Heinz Field. A lot of them are really good people. It's just they've had our number the past couple of years, so we have a couple bad eggs. They have a bunch of bad eggs, and it just, you know. But overall, the 2 franchises, you know, we saw eye to eye that it would be a bad move. And honestly, those 4 years, my first memories of being an NFL fan, there was no Browns.
Oh, yeah.
Cleveland doesn't have a football team. It's like, oh.
Because they left town and all that.
Yeah. They moved in 95.
It's so sad. Now, give me a quick record of how you think they'll do this year. What is your record?
Okay. Well, the Browns haven't won an opening game in 17 years. So, that first week, even if they get blown out, everything will be fine. With the 17th game being added on, I have them going 13-4 this year.
And that's honestly a reasonable assessment, too. I mean, 13-4 makes perfect sense, so...
Not going to jump on that 14-2 mark. You know what? Just win the division, please.
Yeah.
Can we do that first?
I think that's a reasonable assessment, too, because you know what? They've suffered for so long. Really, there's, like, in the Midwest, there's, like, teams like Cleveland and Detroit and Cincinnati that have suffered for so long. And, like, you want to see them at least win one. All right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. All right, so... Be sure to check out the Facebook page Ice Cold with Jacob Walters, and you can also check out the Twitter, IceColdWJacob, and also check out my website, jacobsinvegas.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the mailing list, too. It's easy. Subscribe! And all you do is just enter in your email, and, yeah. So plug your stuff one more time. Tell us your name and your occupation.
All right, thank you for having me, Jacob. It's Kev McAndrews. You can search, or it's AhBigKev. It's AhBigKev. Company is that I'm happy to be here for is Mark One Sports. You can check them out. Mark One is ONE. It's not the number 1. It's 1. MarkOneSports.com.
Awesome sauce. Thank you so much for coming on today. Best of luck to the Browns this year, and yeah, to the Buckeyes, I guess.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you for having me on. It's a real pleasure, and always great talking to you, buddy.
Always a pleasure, Kev. See y'all later on the flip side. Have a